This is Enter the Arena. The Don Juan Banks and Tommy Razorstein, and this is Ronda Rousey arriving in the airport just a few days ago. Tommy, can you see this?
Yeah, I can see that. I can see Travis Brown.
How do you feel, guys? How do you feel, Rhonda? You guys, anything to say to the fans? I mean, that was a tough loss, you know, but we all know you're gonna bounce back. Thank you. Guys, thank you. Is it bad, the bruising, or?
Is it bad? It's a little choppy, but I can see it.
Yeah. Are you watching it? Tommy Razorstein, are you watching this?
How do you feel?
Are you comprehending this?
Bounce back.
It's a little choppy, but I can definitely see it. You know, I see Rhonda being, helped him to the car. God, I feel terrible for Rhonda.
Ladies and gentlemen, on the line from South Korea, the best MMA analyst on YouTube today, Tommy Razorstein, to give you his unopinionated response to Ronda Rousey, 12-1, losing UFC Bantamweight Championship in a upset to now 10-0 new UFC Women's Bantamweight Champion Holm. She was devastatingly knocked out in the second round. She was rushed to the hospital. They were afraid of brain damage or concussion, which they said she didn't suffer, but she had a gash in her lip. She allegedly saw a Australian plastic surgeon, and that was her arriving in the United States. There has a lot of backlash. There has been a lot of support, but this is a woman that has definitely fallen from grace. For the first time, Tommy Razorstein live with his opinion.
What's up, Don? How you doing, man?
I'm hanging in there.
So,
okay.
I want to tell you what happened. What went wrong for Rhonda? Because a lot of people are saying, you had Rhonda. What happened? That was your girl. What went wrong for Rhonda? Was multiple things that went wrong for Rhonda. All right. First thing is, I would like to have seen Rhonda, shoot in and use like a Chris Weidman takedown, a single to a double up against the cage, cut off corners. Instead, she chased, around the champion. Or no, she chased around Holm, and she's the champ. Why are you chasing? Cut off corners. You're the champ. She totally, disrespected her Holm's ability to keep a distance fight. She chased and ran into multiple punches. After the first round, the coaches said, "You're doing a good job." What? What are you doing? Why are you telling her that? Ronda Rousey's mother got in a fight with the coaches a while back, and she wasn't allowed to be in the same room. So they were completely separated. At one point, I think that Ronda Rousey's mother was probably right. What are you saying to her? How come she didn't get the right training? I thought that she would have got definitely the right training. I thought that she was working with the right boxers. What about Nick Diaz? She was great friends with Nick Diaz. Nick Diaz didn't help her do any of the training, didn't help her prepare for any of the fights and the striking. Did Travis Brown have a problem with Nick Diaz? Remember I did a video about Travis Brown and Ronda Rousey and a
video about Travis Brown and Ronda Rousey. Are you dare saying her relationship with the unstable Travis Brown has led to this defeat?
It could have. I mean, that's why I've said a lot of things, and I usually don't go into the drama. You know me, Don. I just like staying with the technique and everything. I just like going
to it now, though.
Yeah, but now I got to start thinking about that stuff. It's like, did that play a big factor? Did Travis Brown,
did he play a role? He has domestic violence. She has domestic violence. maybe it's not a good combination. What is going on in that relationship? Did it lead to this? Or is it the other things around Ronda Rousey that led?
I don't know, Don, but let me give me my rant. You know what I mean? I have my rant that's been going on in my head for a while after this fight. You know, okay. I couldn't get on the internet. I couldn't explain how I felt. I was live and I was in the Philippines. I wasn't able to upload everything I wanted to do.
Big shout out to the Philippines. Tommy Razorstein was in the Philippines.
Yeah, I had a great time there, but I wasn't able to really get the Wi-Fi connection that I could at that time after the fight.
Well, the mic is yours, Tommy.
Just go. My rant now, Don, because I'm on a roll. I'm on a goddamn fucking rant. This is like, this is like experiencing that, Santa wasn't real. You know what I mean? I believed it was like, when you're like 7 years old and someone tells you that Santa isn't real and it like, breaks your heart and you're like, no, this is how I felt, Don. You know what I mean? Like I had so much belief in Ronda Rousey's ability to be able to close the difference, be able to get into a clinch. God, it kills me the inside to think about it. You know what I mean? Why wasn't she working with the right people to be able to get into the right clinch? She has the people around her. She has the technique, the ability. She should be able to work a single to a double, not a single in an open octagon, but a single to just to press the cage, to cut off the corners. Why wasn't she working with the best of the best? And when we see Frankie Edgar would throw all sorts of different multiple moves at an opponent and keep them guessing. When he was fighting Gray Maynard, you didn't know if it was a Superman punch. You didn't know if it was a single. You didn't know if it was a haymaker punch. You didn't know if it was a fake jab. You didn't know if it was a feint. All sorts of different things. Ronda did not have her guessing. She just ran forward. Who was teaching her this? Who was... Anyway, Ronda... She goes into fights a lot of times emotional and says, this bitch, I don't like her, blah, 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 this, that, and other thing, like kind of like the Diaz brothers do. But I didn't think that was going to really be her. You know what I mean? I didn't think that was going to be her. I didn't think that she was going to be so emotional in the fight against a good striker like that. I didn't think that she would chase her like she chased Betch Cotera. Betch, she's not that good of a fighter. You can chase her and beat her up and throw her down and knock her out. Whereas Holly Holm, I thought she would have cut off the corner. I didn't think she'd get emotional. I didn't think that Ronda would fall into that stupid matador chasing game, and she did. I had a lot more faith in Ronda. I still love Ronda. Don't get me wrong, Don. Still supporting Ronda, but it's heartbreaking. It's heartbreaking right now.
Is that the end of your rant?
Right now, yeah.
Well, Tommy, we're just getting started. Okay, you're in the Philippines, and Ronda has that horrible first round. Walk us through that first round.
All right, so she's eating punches and walking in a jab.
I want you to be very technical about it. It's the fight starts. She doesn't touch gloves, and then it starts.
All right, she doesn't touch gloves, and at that point,
what did that mean? And you being the best MMA analyst on YouTube today, they don't touch gloves. What does that mean when Ronda refuses to touch gloves?
That one's emotional and one's really not emotional. If you look at it, one looks like she's fighting emotional, and the other one looks like she's not fighting emotional. And when you start fighting emotional, you start exhausting yourself a lot more. She looked tired after. The first round, she looked a little tired. She didn't look like she was in the best shape. She should be in Nick Diaz shape. You know what I mean?
Well, people say that the damage she was taking, the energy she was using, led to the exhaustion.
Yeah, but you know what? One thing I think it's the emotion that is getting built up inside her.
The anxiety.
Anxiety and emotion.
Ronda Rousey made her get tired. Doesn't matter what type of
thing she should be. You know what I mean?
Wasn't focused. She didn't concentrate. She didn't have a good game plan.
She just was too aggressive, man.
She was coming out like Tyson.
Yeah, and she acted like she had knockout power, and she knocked out Betch Cotera. But you know what? She's not that good of a fighter. You can't do that against Holly Holm. You can't do that, man. And I thought she would have listened to her mother. Her mother said, "Don't do that, Rhonda. I didn't like how you chased around that last girl. You know what I mean? I want you to, press her against the cage and work the inside and work more throws. And I think it was kind of, wild that you came out and started swinging at Betch, not setting up any jabs. And Rhonda was like, "It's okay, Mom. I'm not going to do it again. Just not against that girl. I didn't really respect her, so I didn't think of her power." But she came out again and did it the same time, same thing against Holly Holm, which was crazy. That was crazy to do that, man. Anyway, she did it, and she walked in the
that first round. She's rushing her. She's going straight into the punches, getting caught with big shots, getting bloodied. Now, she got to a point in that first round where you wanted to see her. She finally had closed the distance. The judo throw, she was not able to get it the way that she wanted to. They both kind of fell. Walk us through that grappling.
She was trying to pull out an armbar, but I don't think she felt relaxed enough. She didn't look, relaxed enough to be able to work through the motions.
Now, I have a big question.
Yeah.
A lot of people say Ronda Rousey was not stronger than Holly Holm. Did you see that?
Holly looked stronger.
Wow! What? Tommy Razorstein is telling everyone right now that Holly Holm was stronger than Ronda Rousey.
Yeah, of course. I don't think that's a big surprise. I think Ronda could lose a couple pounds and go down to a different weight class if she wanted to. She's not as tight. Her muscle tone isn't as tight as Holly Holm. Holly, every single muscle on her is defined. Ronda's not fat. I'm not saying that, but I think she could drop 10 pounds if she needed.
Her diet wasn't on par for this fight?
No, but what I'm saying is that if she wanted to drop down to a different weight class and be leaner than she is, she could.
Are you suggesting, Tommy?
Come on. I'm not saying that women should go out and
no,
look good, but I'm talking about the sport. I did it.
No, what I'm talking about, Razorstein, is I have a little bit of disagreement here. What weight she's going to drop down to? You cannot possibly talking about 115 strawweight, because that's the next division.
Maybe.
Do heroin?
Huh?
Do meth?
Meth?
Yeah. How she's going to get down to that weight?
A little crystal meth, a little blue.
Okay, Tommy.
Crystal meth.
Tommy, you're walking us through the Tommy, yeah. What did you think when she? Okay, that didn't go right. What about against the cage? She had her going for a takedown against the cage, and Holm was able to escape.
Yeah, she was able to escape, and I thought that Ronda would be able to be more relaxed, and she wasn't relaxed enough.
Pressure on her, and she was taking big punches. She goes to now. This is something you mentioned in your rant. The first round is over, and I know you had to be like, "Oh my God, this is a crisis right here, Tom."
Mm-hmm.
You're basically targeting the coach right now. If you're the coach, Tom, what do you say to Ronda Rousey? We all know she's a superstar. We all know, but this is a real fight here. This is her life on the line. What do you say? You don't say what he said. You're doing a good job.
I put ice on her first. I don't think anyone put ice on her. And I'd be like, relax, breathe. I want you to breathe. I want you to relax. I want you to breathe. I want you to think about what you're doing. I want you to work corners. I want you to work angles. I want you to see if you can close the distance. As soon as she throws, I want you to close. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you're saying close the distance is hard for a
Rhonda. What I want you to do is I want you to use some feints.
Backed up.
And it's, you know what I mean? I want you to use some feints. You didn't use any feints. I want you to use some feints.
Okay.
I want her to jab. And as soon as you jab, as soon as she jabs, I want you to slip the jab and then go in and start clinching. I want you to relax. And we practice this. You slip the jab. and you close the distance. As soon as she jabs, you close the distance and grip up and press her against the cage and shoot in for a single, shoot in for a double. You know, if I was a coach and everything, I'd be like, Rhonda, I brought in the right wrestling people. You know, I flew in, Chael Sanderson for this. One of the best wrestlers of all time. Me and Chael we worked with on for hours and hours about shooting in from a single to and then pressing to a double up against the cage, and then working to a judo throw, just a single to the double, just to close off the angles. We worked on this, slip the jab, and then get into a clinch. But instead, they said, all right, when she throws to the right and the other, an uppercut, trying to throw back. And like get into an exchange in a boxing fight to close the distance. No. What are you doing? Didn't talk about that. I didn't like it at all, Don.
We're going into the second round here. Holly Holm's doing everything right. Ronda Rousey's doing everything wrong. It gets worse for Rousey. She goes for a left. She drops down to her knee, hits the cage. Then she goes, rushes in again, gets caught off balance to the side, gets kicked in the face and knocked out cold, and eats more punches. I mean, a very brutal knockout. It was what they call the biggest upset in MMA history, the most brutal knockout of a female fighter ever. And that's sad to say this about which was considered the best female fighter ever that to happen to. It's in the minds. It is pop culture. Take us through the game-changing second round.
All right, so she continues to walk into punches.
Oh my God.
And she even got taken down.
Holm
gripped her up.
Oh my God.
Slid her arms, to her lower back, put the shoulder into the side of her chest, and forced her down.
Yeah.
The bear hug,
Yes.
And I couldn't believe it that she went to the ground. When she was to the ground, she just got back up like, I can take you to the ground, but I'm not going to play the game. You're not going to throw me kind of attitude. At that point, that was when she lost. It happens to wrestlers. It happens to a lot of people. As soon as you lose, your strength of where you are, and they dominate you and your strength. You saw it when Brock Lesnar, was getting taken down by Kane. And I was like, well, that was Brock's, strength. And like, she's getting out clinched by Holm. That was when Rhonda, I think, started to break and say, I don't know how I'm going to win this fight. I got to think about how I'm going to win this fight. I just got taken down in the position where I should be the dominant person in that position. And then she, I think, just started questioning like what she should do more, and didn't go second nature into, what she had planned. And eventually just that led to her demise. And some people say, oh, it was fixed. Fixed. You get a rear naked choke. Fixed.
Oh, wait, Tommy. This guy named Taz, he was a MMA, he was a WWE commentator, and he has his own podcast. He said it was fixed. What do you have to say to somebody like that?
Lay off the crystal meth. It's not.
Whoa!
Honestly, dude, if it's fixed, know what you do? You go out and you tap. You know what I mean? My knee's going out, and you take a rear naked choke. Yeah, like you say your knee goes out, and like
you do it all the time.
Yeah, and you tap.
Bob Sapp.
Yeah, you take a couple shots and you clinch, and then all of a sudden you're stuck in a rear naked choke, and you go, I'm tapping. You don't take a fucking kick to the face. You don't eat a fucking flush kick to the face and neck that sends your ass to the hospital. You don't go out like that.
This is Enter the Arena, the Don Juan Banks, Tommy Razorstein. Go to Tommy Razorstein Live. Every day Tommy Razorstein is on Tommy Razorstein Live, right?
Yeah. Subscribe to the channel. Check me out, man. I'm always posting up all sorts of videos.
This is one of the most shocking moments in MMA history. They say the biggest upset in MMA history, the most brutal knockout of a female fighter ever. And that's sad that we're saying this about you know, she have reached high status in mixed martial arts. She had the world in the palm of her hands. Let's read this to you, Tommy Razorstein, to update the fans and everyone, because this is the first time we're getting you here, and we're right now watching pre-tape footage from a few days ago of Ronda Rousey covering her face. What the humiliation, the anguish that she's going through right now. She saw a plastic surgeon. Her face was disfigured. You see Travis Brown, her boyfriend, which, you know, Tommy Razorstein does not approve of that relationship whatsoever. He does not like them together. He feels like, you know, that could be one of the many reasons why she may have lost this fight. Distraction, something that you said she could not afford. But let's give you this information, and we want to get you into this. In Hollywood Life, gossip site, Ronda Rousey is ready for a rematch. Yes, Tom, you know, did confirm there will be a rematch.
No.
She is medically suspended, Tommy Ray. Let me get through this article, and I'm gonna give you as much time as possible. Just let me get through. But it's going to take quite some time, Tommy Razorstein and the viewers of Enter the Arena, for that to happen, because she has been suspended, Tommy Razorstein, for a half of a year. The MMA fighter is being forced to sit out and rest for medical reasons after suffering injuries in her November 14th fight. Get the scoop here. Safety first. The UFC has suspended its most high-profile fighter, Ronda Rousey, from fighting for the next 6 months, Tommy Razorstein, because of the severity of her injuries she received in her brutal loss to Holm on November 14th. She's only 28 years old. She was hospitalized after the fight and continues to be monitored. Ronda's medical suspension is for 180 days, although it could be shortened and cut in half if her CT scan comes back negative, a brain scan. In that case, she'll spend 60 days without fighting and 45 days with no contact as well. As we saw, Ronda Rousey got completely pummeled in her fight against Holly at UFC 193. And although the exact nature of her injuries hasn't been disclosed, we know she took some brutal shots that can end anyone's career. The former undefeated champion was rushed to the hospital after her loss for observation after the match. And it's reported that she likely had plastic surgery when her lip got split open. But as we previously reported, Ronda had already planned to take some time off before getting back into the sport, so this will likely become her first rest. I just wanted to thank everyone for the love and support, she wrote on Instagram. I appreciate the concerns for my health, but I'm fine. As I mentioned before, I'm going to take a little bit of time, but I'll be back. We know Ronda is a fighter, so it's no surprise she's toughing it out, even though her injuries are severe. UFC Dana White has confirmed a rematch between these two after Holly broke Ronda's streak, making her 12-0. So we'll definitely be patiently waiting for the wounds to heal so this fight can happen. Razorstein, your immediate opinion.
I do not want to see a rematch at all. Not at all, Don. Not until
you don't want her to get vindication.
No, not at all. Pride hurt.
Denied the reports of a broken jaw also, Tommy. He denied those reports.
Yeah, I heard like mixed stories about what about that.
I heard he denied him.
Yeah, I heard he denied it. I heard he said it. Back and forth. So,
Tommy, you seem worried right now. I've never heard you this way.
Yeah, I mean, this is my hero, Don. This is my hero. This is someone who I love that clinch game. You know that, Don? I love the clinch game. And there's people who who I've seen throughout history in the UFC where it's like, wow, for some reason I really connect to the people who have amazing clinches. Randy Couture, I was like, that's my man. Love Randy. John Jones, I was like, I like this guy. And then I was like, wait a second, this guy's an asshole. And I was like, oh, wow, Ronda's clinch. This is amazing what she can do in her throws. Love the clinch, man. And I love the armbar. And I love everything that she can do. But the problem is there's a big hole in her game, man. There's a real big hole in her game. She's not working with the right people to develop, the right striking. She should be working with Nick Diaz. Her friend, Nick Diaz, can teach her all this stuff. I don't know what's going on. See, the thing with Travis Brown is I don't know if he is saying, oh, Nick Diaz is a scumbag or something like that. He's suspended from the UFC and, don't even hang out with that guy. I don't know what Travis Brown is saying. And, it's got to be hard, being the boyfriend in a way and saying, okay, get on the ground with that guy and practice jiu-jitsu. It's got to be a little bit, annoying on some level. So I don't know if he is keeping her from training with the right people. I'm not sure. But she isn't learning the right striking technique, and I thought that she would have. And that's killing me on the inside. It's mind-boggling. She has all the right people who want to donate all their time to help her, become this successful striker, the best fighter in the world. Everyone is, supporting her before this happened. But now, what the fuck?
I'm glad you said that, because this leads into, if I can get this article to come up, but if I can't, the biggest question of today, why did the world turn on Ronda Rousey?
That's a good question, Don.
You're the best MMA analyst. You got to answer it.
You know what? It's amazing how people just all of a sudden just switch. Isn't it? It's absolutely amazing when it's like, okay, we're going to switch, and no longer is this person our favorite person that we have. We're going to switch with another person. We're going to drop this. They think that, oh, well, she's really arrogant or something like that now. Whereas before they could tolerate it. If she's winning, then you can be arrogant. Fuck, man. It's bullshit.
It's just the way the world is.
In a lot of ways, yes. In a lot of ways, yes, Don. And it's sad. It's sad to see people just be fair weather fans. I mean, you see it with in sports, Dallas Cowboys. All of a sudden, the Dallas Cowboys are doing amazing in the 90s. And people are just switching to being fans. You can see it, all of a sudden, when Chicago Bulls were doing awesome, all of a sudden everyone's a Chicago Bulls fan. Or, the years when the Yankees win the World Series, people are like, oh, yeah, I love the Yankees. And then all of a sudden with Ronda Rousey, they can't sell Ronda Rousey stock fast enough. I held on to my Ronda Rousey stock because you know what? I just love her. I love her because, I love what she can do.
Tommy, well, I got to be honest with you. Her stock has plummeted. The world has turned against Ronda. The world has turned against Ronda Rousey because, in my opinion, she was built up to be something that she was not. She is a great fighter, but she is not like Tyson or Ali. She's a great fighter and all. She accomplished a lot. I mean, look, Ronda Rousey needs to be given more credit, okay? I know she's lost this fight and she might not be as great as people are building her up to be, but come on, for Christ's sakes. Let's look at her schedule. She's always obligated to do something. She has beaten Betch. She beat Zingano. She beat Alexis Davis. She beat McMahon. She beat Tate. That's all these fights in the course of 3 or 4. That is a lot of top contenders that she's fighting. And so we have to understand that she may be due for a loss because she's fighting the best of the best. She is really fighting the best people in her division. And she had flaws in her boxing, But when you have somebody keep telling you that you're the best, you're the best, you're the best, she was even doing interviews saying that she want to be a champion of boxing. She want to be a but let's be honest here. Her strong point, like you said, Tommy Razorstein, was what she really needed to rely on. Her strategy, her game plan, not emotions and what people believe she is. Well, what are you for real? I know. You know, I cover boxing. You said this also, Tommy Razorstein. We both knew that Ronda Rousey wasn't the best striker in the world. Okay, we knew that, but she used to take a couple of punches to get to where she needed to be. But she started taking a couple of punches and she knocked out a person and she stopped a couple of people, and then now she's the best boxer in the world. Holly Holm used great boxing, but that wasn't the only thing Holly Holm used. She used boxing, used kickboxing, she used range, distance to be able to escape using jiu-jitsu. So when the boxing fans say that she got beat by a boxer, yes, Holly Holm did box before and had accomplished some things, but she just didn't get beat by no plain old boxer. Because if a plain old boxer stepped in there, I doubt that Ronda Rousey would have lost that fight. This is a woman who had a game plan, and that's why this leads us into the master of game plans, Tommy Razorstein, Greg Jackson.
Yeah, I mean, he's the best in the world. No one's going to be able to out game plan you. I mean, if you want somebody, you know, to go to war and you want a general to go to war with, he's the best. Greg Jackson is the best. I mean, like, think of war generals. Greg Jackson is the best war general for MMA. I mean, no one's better, dude. No one's going to come up with a better game plan than Greg Jackson. You're going against the best. You're fighting Holm and you're fighting Greg Jackson. And it's terrifying. It's terrifying to see someone like Greg Jackson, who has been studying you for a long time and knows all your weaknesses and everything. And I don't know how he finds out all the information that he does, but he's damn good, man. There's a reason why everyone goes to him. You know what I mean?
Well, Tommy Razorstein, we only got 2 minutes left here. We got 2 minutes left here. What's to close it out? I will say first, and then I'll let you go. Last question I got is, what's next for Ronda Rousey? I'm going to go first, and then I'll let you close it out, Tommy. I think Ronda Rousey has a lot of soul searching to do. We got to know the extent of her injuries. Like you said, Dana denied, and you said that you heard some rumors and speculation that she could have, her jaw could be broken. It may not be. Okay, some rumors are out there. Rumors of plastic surgery. It was a brutal knockout. Her lights was cut out. That's never good for anybody. It was a brutal fight. She just got outclassed. You're talking about 6 months. She's probably, let's say 6 months she'll be out. Let's say the medical suspension gets cut short. Dana probably still will sit her out for 6 months, because that's, she is basically her brand is still worth money. Even though her stock has plummeted, it's still a lot of money in her. So I feel take this entire 6 months, do a training camp. I feel take a year and just start from the beginning again, not to go straight for home. Start with a solid fighter or a good, okay, and work her back way. If she can work her way through 3 good fights, then, she can re-examine what she did wrong and go back for it again. That's what I would like her to do. If her health is up to it. Tommy Razorstein.
I would say this: have her go against someone solid like Miesha Tate. I would love to see that Miesha Tate fight. Win or lose. I think it would be good for the UFC if win or lose. You know what I mean? I love Miesha too. I love Miesha. Love both of them. I love Miesha and I love Rhonda. So I wouldn't mind seeing a Ronda Rousey Miesha Tate fight. Or have her against Jessica I. Someone who's still in the UFC, is doing pretty well. Or someone at that level. You can't have her fight Holly Holm again. There's just a huge, huge gap that needs to be filled in. She needs to show that she can, box again. That she can stay and strike and hang with these opponents in the striking world, where she didn't do it before, and she has to prove it, man. She has to prove it to the fans, and she has to prove it to herself, more importantly. Because if she goes back into the cage and she hasn't proved those things to herself, she's going to get fucking lit up. And it's going to be sad because I don't want to see that happen to Rhonda. There's people who cheer for blood and like seeing, people get hurt. I'm not that kind of person, man. I love the fighters. I don't want to see that happen to Rhonda.
Anybody get hurt this time.
And I think she get hurt, and I don't want to see her get hurt. People fight at the best of their abilities and the best of the competition, and it being fair. Now I don't want to see people just getting hurt.
Now, I gotta ask you a bonus question. You said work her way back up, but it's something more she's gonna have to deal with. And you gotta close us out with this. Her camp, her relationship, how will she deal with the people? What happens if her face is a little bit damaged from the fight, a scar? How will Rousey deal with this?
Well, I think she should stop dating Travis Brown and date me instead, because I would be a better
that's how to solve all the world's problems.
I think that would be better for
Ronda Rousey's cakes. You want some of Ronda Rousey's cakes? I see you, Razorstein.
I just
what
think.
What were you doing in the Philippines? What were you doing in the Philippines?
Yeah, follow Razorstein live.
Tommy Razorstein. A lot of people ask you. They say don't want to hear. A lot of people say, Razorstein walked out on Enter Arena. He got his own thing.
Oh, I'm still on Enter Arena.
You here live. People are tuning in here live for you. Razorstein, they've been waiting for you for a long time.
I know. I'm sorry. I wasn't able to get on.
You're back, man. Better than you ever been.
In the Philippines.
Anything Philippine fans? You got a lot of Philippine fans?
Yeah, I got Philippine fans, man. They all want to hang out and party in the Philippines. Philippines is crazy, though.
Yes. Tell us about it.
It's crazy. Philippines is nuts, dude.
Mm-hmm.
So
you did that first. The first thing.
What's that?
You said the first thing you would like to see her do is stop her relationship with Travis Brown. Now, what about this Travis Brown's fans out there saying he ain't had nothing to do with it?
Excuse me?
Now, it's going to be Travis Brown fans out there to say he ain't had nothing to do with it.
No, but you know what? There's something going on where she's not getting the right training because she's an amazing athlete, dude. She has some of the best abilities I've ever seen in an athlete and a woman. I've never seen someone do a one-handed handspring to an arm bar. This shit was fucking crazy, dude. And she did that against Kat Zingano. Kat Zingano is still a great fighter. You know what I mean? I think she's still an amazing fighter, and she still has a wild abilities that she can learn. And I think that someone like Ronda Rousey could learn a single to a double, man. George St. Pierre learned a double leg takedown and started double legging people and beating wrestlers in the wrestling department, which was crazy because George is never a wrestler to begin with. And beating Matt Hughes in the wrestling department. I was like, wow, how can he be doing that? I mean, he shot in and took Johnny Hendricks down. The Canadian team asked him to go out for the Olympics. It was crazy, dude. I'm saying maybe she can do it, maybe she can't. Something like that. But I think she can learn something. I think she has the ability to learn something where it's like, she's able to surprise people with the new moves that she learned. And I think that if she was able to have a new power and new strength on takedowns and avoiding major shots and avoiding major punches, that she could close that distance and cut off the octagon.
So let's organize everything so the fans can understand, because I understand exactly what you're saying, Razorstein. She needs to clean house and make a statement. She needs to stop being with Travis Brown. She needs to get a whole new camp. She needs to get real training. She needs to be in the ring. She needs to be doing everything that she needs to do and start from the beginning again.
Yep.
How will she deal? Now, I get all that. the media? What about the movie? I don't understand her. Is there a schedule? I don't know if her schedule's still the same or she, you know, her stock has plummeted. How do she's walking, she got to go out. Okay. Where does she do the first interview? What does she go on Fox and do an interview about it? Does she be revealing that she's hurt? How does she be around people again that believe so much in her and she's lost? Some people won't look at her the same. Some people are going to love her and some people are going to hate her. How does she deal with that, Tommy? I mean, you know, she's very emotional.
She is very emotional. And
does she need someone on her team to help her with that?
You know, it would be pretty cool to have some PR campaign to help her with that. I mean, think about Chael Sonnen. A lot of people didn't like Chael at one point, and then all of a sudden everyone loved him. Mm-hmm. Remember that shit?
Yeah.
Because he was in a reality TV show, and they're like, you know what? He's actually a really nice guy. And I think if we were able to show society that, listen, Ronda Rousey is a fucking competitor, and she wants to fight, and she just gets so, you know, emotional before fights, and she gets so amped up, and she can learn, you know, some tricks of the trade to better prepare for her fights, and show her in the right, you know, light that she really cares about the other fighters. And I think that would be a good point to bring back her image, because at one point she was doing that reality TV show and she was showing how much she cared about the other fighters. And as a coach, she's like, I want to be around my fighters. And if we can show that to the public, people loved it. And people will love her again, man.
So you're saying a change of heart
for her, and not for her victories. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
I love Ronda for I love Ronda for her technique and what she's able to do.
It can set her free.
The warrior, and she's so hungry, and she's just, you know, gung ho. And I love, you know, Ronda's attitude. Not everyone does, but I do. But I think people would love to see someone who can, you know, understand others' compassions and be a good coach, and that might be a good start for a reality TV show of coaching.
Well, we're out of time. I mean, it has been an honor to have you on the air, Tommy Razorstein, and talk about this situation. It's trending around the world, and people have been tuning into a lot of people's opinion. And it was one man that they have not heard from that was in the shadows. You took your time to come out, and I think I know why, because you wanted the dust to settle.
I want the dust to settle, and I also couldn't get the internet connection because I was and, you know, I wanted to really think about everything.
We're going to have you back. We're out of time. We only got around 15 seconds left, but we want to tell the fans you will be back for Chris Weidman versus Luke Rockhold.
Yep, I can't wait, man. There's a double leg takedown Ronda should learn.
Enter the arena, Tommy Razorstein Live. Go to Tommy Razorstein Live and check him out. He's there every single day, and he's doing more than MMA. And he's still here with Enter the Arena, and he's overseas right now. So we got him back. We're gonna have him back again for UFC 194, and it's just gonna be a great time. He's back full time, and everything's great. All right, thank you for joining us, Tommy Razorstein.
Thank you, Don.
Peace.
Peace.